Fly a fighter jet one weekend a month, keep your career, sleep in your own bed, and yes, it's completely real. There's a base hidden in Oregon guarding a secret the Air Force rarely admits out loud, and today, you're going inside. They take people who've never touched a tactical jet, no pilot's license, no engineering degree, and something shocking happens to them. You'll see a dogfight where almost every student loses on purpose, a mid-air moment that terrifies grown pilots, and a jet that once lost a whole wing and still landed. Stay to the end, because the final secret is how ordinary people just like you actually get picked. What if I told you that you could fly a fighter jet just one weekend a month? No joke, this is real, and only one path in the Air Force makes it possible. You could serve your country, keep a civilian career, and never uproot your family every couple of years. It sounds too good to be true, but stay with me and I'll show you exactly how. Because somewhere in Oregon, there's a base that guards one of the best-kept secrets in the Air Force. It's called Kingsley Field, home of the 173rd Fighter Wing, and today, you're getting inside. Here they train F-15C pilots from absolute zero, people who have never touched a tactical fighter jet. By the time training ends, that same person becomes a mission-ready wingman, flying alongside squadrons across the country. Your guide through all of this is an instructor with the call sign Quake. But surely to get here, you need flight experience and some elite degree, right? The answer might surprise you. You don't need a private pilot's license, an instrument rating, or a commercial certificate to walk through that door. You don't need an engineering degree or a science degree either, which breaks almost every myth people believe. So if not experience, then what exactly are they looking for in the people they hire? The competition is brutal, so any flight time you already have will set your application apart from the crowd. But the real currency here is self-motivation, hard work, and refusing to settle for average. There's a phrase you'll hear over and over at Kingsley. Good enough is simply not good enough. And then there's the advantage almost nobody talks about. The reason the Guard changes everything for you. Unlike active duty pilots, you know your state and your aircraft before you even begin training. You pick the airframe, you pick the home, and then it's on you to perform and earn it. Some pilots here fly for the airlines, others work jobs with nothing to do with aviation. They live their normal 9-to-5 life, then show up for drill and execute the flying mission. Okay, so you got picked up. Now, what does the road to becoming an Eagle pilot actually look like? It starts heavy in academics, long days of studying, learning every system of the jet by heart. Once you build that foundation, you move into the simulators, drilling scenarios until they become second nature. Then you hit a threshold, and suddenly you're cleared for the flight line and the real aircraft. But here's the part that surprises everyone. The academics never stop. The sims never stop. The flights never stop. They stack on top of each other, longer and busier, all building toward the day you graduate. The advice from the people who made it is simple. Start as early as you possibly can. Challenge yourself, dedicate every moment to this goal, and find any way to stand out from the pack. From the day you're picked up to the day you're an Eagle driver takes about 2 years. But 2 years for what exactly? For a machine that deserves a story all its own. Walk up to the F-15C, and you're standing next to a living legend of air combat. Its kill ratio is 104-0, never once defeated in air-to-air combat in its history. The whole jet is basically built around its radar, the APG-63V3, an advanced AESA system. That radar lets it find targets high or low, then track them and strike from incredible range. Look at the 2 massive intakes feeding the Pratt & Whitney engines that give it brutal speed. The ramps and doors inside actually move, shaping the airflow so the jet stays fast and agile everywhere. Under the nose sits the cannon, firing around 6,000 rounds a minute, with 940 rounds ready to go.
Only the A-10 carries more rounds air-to-air, and this thing can haul 8 missiles at once. Now look at the wings, roughly the same surface area as a standard tennis court laid out flat. That size makes it wildly maneuverable and stable at every altitude, low or high, fast or slow. And here's a wild fact. This jet once lost an entire wing in a collision and still landed. That's how survivable it is. And soon our host straps into the backseat to fly it for real. But before anyone leaves the ground, every future pilot faces a brutal preparation on the tarmac. First comes the gear, the parachute, the ejection handles, and the tight anti-gravity suit wrapped around your legs. That G-suit isn't for comfort, it's built to keep you conscious when the jet tries to knock you out. Under heavy G-forces, the suit inflates, squeezes your legs, and forces blood back up toward your head. If it didn't, the pressure would drain the blood from your brain and you'd black out completely.
And as the gear goes on, you hear the team's values again. Always get better as pilots, officers, and people. Every handle is checked, every strap tightened, and then the canopy closes and the engines roar to life. Cleared for takeoff, throttles forward, and the whole aircraft slams you into the seat like a rocket. The nose lifts, and in seconds you're pointed straight up, climbing vertical into wide-open sky. The view is unreal, and you can't help asking the pilot if this feeling ever gets old. It never does, he says. And then the formation tightens up, wingtip to wingtip, like the Thunderbirds. You're flying inches from another jet, standard fingertip formation, close enough to reach out and touch. But this beautiful flying is only the backdrop, because the real job of a fighter is the fight. Next comes basic fighter maneuvers, BFM, the dogfighting you've seen in movies like Top Gun. They teach it crawl, walk, run, starting with one simple goal: survive and defend yourself one-on-one. The instructor sets up behind the student at different ranges, then switches and starts out in front. Now the student has to try and take out the instructor, and here's the honest truth. Almost none of them succeed. And that's completely the point of the entire exercise. The goal is to throw you into pressure, watch how you react, and build you up from there. Then it happens for real. The jet snapping hard left into an aileron roll during a live engagement. Your host is fine, but a fight like that burns fuel fast, which sets up the hardest skill of all. Refueling in midair terrifies new students, and the reason is deeply human, not technical. You have to sit just feet from another aircraft while you're physically connected to it in flight. Pilots hold position using director lights, the heads-up display, and mirrors inside the cockpit. There's a green marker on the boom. They line up exactly where the shroud meets the metal. On a bright day, those lights wash out and become almost impossible to see clearly. Strangely, night is easier because, in the dark, those directive lights glow bright and sharp. And now you're just 10 feet from a massive tanker, close enough to see the boom operator. Up here, the altitude climbs past 46,000 feet, and even breathing starts to feel different. In training, the F-15 goes up to 50,000 feet. In combat, it can climb far higher and faster. As you rise, the mask feeds you more oxygen, but exhaling gets harder against the pressure. Then the pilot says the words you'll never forget. You have the aircraft. It's your jet now. Hands on the stick, you ease into a smooth roll to the right, following his calm instructions. Faster, faster, go, go, go. And the world spins around you as the horizon rolls over. And just like that, you rolled an F-15, earning a genuine, no joke, that was really nice. But the ride isn't over, because next comes something even more intense, hugging the ground at speed. You drop into a valley, following the terrain, then cross a ridgeline in a banking turn. Glance down and you catch your own shadow racing across the earth at your 9 o'clock. The respect hits you hard, because this kind of skill doesn't come from talent, it comes from training. Nobody starts out flying like this. The difference between day one and now is genuinely insane. And that level of mastery isn't luck. It grows out of a very specific way of life. Team Kingsley is a small, tight-knit community where almost everyone has been there for a long time. There are fewer people than active duty, but they stay, and that changes everything about the culture. Their kids go to the same schools, play together, and the military and civilian worlds blend into one. This is the promise from the very beginning made real. You get to serve while staying home. You protect your country and the state you call home without dragging your family across the map. So the only question left is simple. How do you actually take the first step toward this? The starting point most future guard pilots use is a resource built specifically for aspiring aviators. It offers a job board across roughly 150 squadrons, letting you choose both your aircraft and your location. You also get tools to measure how competitive you are, plus webinars and a whole community of dreamers. Remember, you don't need a special degree, just the drive to work hard and stand out. You've now seen the gear, the fight, the refuel, and the roll with your own eyes. The flexibility, the machine, and the community are all real, waiting for the people willing to chase them. So if this life pulls at something inside you, the path forward starts right where you're sitting. The next fighter pilot could be you, one weekend a month, defending the country and the home you love.